Master Chief versus a Space Marine captain. The question that's broken the internet for over a decade. Halo fans say Spartans are faster, smarter, and more tactical. Warhammer fans say Space Marines are literal demigods who would tear Spartans apart. Both sides have been arguing for years, and nobody's settled it until now. I spent 40 hours researching this. I read every Halo novel, every Space Marine codex, watched every lore video, analyzed every feat. I'm giving you the most comprehensive breakdown ever made. We're comparing origins, augmentations, equipment, training, combat doctrine, and actual battlefield performance. Then we're running battle scenarios to see who actually wins. This is 1 hour of pure analysis, no bias, just facts. By the end, you'll know exactly who wins and why, and yes, there will be an actual answer, because I'm not copping out with it. Depends. One of them is objectively superior, and we're proving it. Let's start with how these super soldiers are created, because you can't understand who wins without understanding what they are. Space Marines are created through a process called gene seed implantation. They take a normal human boy, usually between ages 10 and 14, and surgically implant 19 organs called gene seed organs into his body over several years. These organs are genetic material from one of the Primarchs, the Emperor's demigod sons. The gene seed organs completely rewrite the boy's biology. He grows a second heart, a third lung, an organ that lets him spit acid, glands that enhance every sense and muscle. His bones are fused with a ceramic to make them unbreakable. His blood clots instantly. He can survive in a vacuum for 10 minutes. The process takes years, and most candidates die. The success rate is maybe 50% at best, but the ones who survive become 8 foot tall, superhuman warriors who can fight for days without rest. Spartans are created through the Spartan 2 program. They take children at age 6, train them for 8 years, then at age 14 subject them to radical augmentations. Carbide ceramic ossification makes their bones nearly unbreakable. Muscular enhancement injections increase muscle density by 300%. Catalytic thyroid implants boost growth hormones. Occipital capillary reversal increases visual perception and sharpens reflexes. Superconducting fibrification of neural dendrites makes their thoughts 300% faster. The augmentation process has a 44% mortality rate and 12% crippling rate. Only 33 out of 75 Spartan 2 candidates survived fully functional. But those who did became the greatest soldiers humanity ever created. So right away we see similarities. Both programs take children, both have insane mortality rates, both produce superhuman results. But there's a key difference. Space Marines are built through biological transformations, using gene seed from demigods. Spartans are built through surgical enhancement of baseline human biology. Space Marines are a new species. Spartans are the peak of what humans can become. Keep this in mind, because it matters. Let's talk physical capabilities, starting with strength. A Space Marine without armor can bench press a car. They can punch through concrete walls. They can rip steel doors off hinges. In the novel Space Marine by Ian Watson, a Space Marine breaks a man's spine by squeezing him. In Horus Rising, Loken punches through a tank's armor plating. Space Marines are casually superhuman in every physical feat. Their gene seed organs, specifically the Biscopea and Osmodula, make their muscles incredibly dense and their bones ceramic reinforced. They're strong enough to fight without armor and still dominate. Spartans without armor are also incredibly strong. John 117 at age 14, immediately after augmentation, killed 3 ODST soldiers in a boxing match by accident. He hit them so hard he broke bones and ruptured organs. In the Fall of Reach, Spartans flip warthogs which weigh 3 tons. In First Strike, John punches through Covenant elite armor, but here's the thing: Spartans need their Mjolnir armor to reach their full potential. The armor amplifies their strength by a factor of 5. Without armor, Spartans are peak human plus. With armor, they're superhuman. Space Marines are superhuman baseline, and their armor also amplifies them. Advantage Space Marines in raw strength. A Space Marine without armor is stronger than a Spartan without armor. And both in armor, the Space Marine is still stronger. Now let's talk speed. This is where it gets controversial. Space Marines are fast, but they're 8 feet tall and weigh 700 to 1,000 pounds in armor. They're not slow, but they're not agile. In No Fear, a Space Marine runs at 40 miles per hour for a sustained sprint. That's fast, but not supernatural. Their reaction time, though, is insane. In Angels of Death, a Space Marine dodges bolter rounds after they're fired. In The Beast Arises, a Space Marine catches a bullet. Their Laraman cells and enhanced nervous system make them reactive, but not necessarily fast in terms of movement speed. Spartans in Mjolnir armor can run at 60 miles per hour, with Chief reaching 65 in a sprint. Kelly 087, the fastest Spartan, hits 62 kilometers per hour, which is 38.5 miles per hour without armor. With armor, Spartans move like lightning, but the real advantage is reaction time. Spartans have 20 millisecond reaction times. That's 0.02 seconds. They can see bullets in slow motion. In The Fall of Reach, John is described as seeing the world in slow motion because his thoughts are so fast. Inhale, the Flood Chief dodges plasma fire at point blank range multiple times. Spartans live in bullet time. So here's the breakdown. Space Marines are faster in a straight sprint unarmored, but Spartans in Mjolnir armor are faster in combat movement, and their reaction time is definitively better. Spartans can react to things Space Marines can't, because their neural enhancement is specifically designed for this. Advantage Spartans in speed and reactions. Now, durability. Space Marines are biological tanks. Their osmodula fuses their bones, with ceramite making them nearly unbreakable. Their preomnor can neutralize most poisons. Their Laraman's organ makes their blood clot instantly. And seal wounds. They have 2 hearts, so if one is destroyed, they keep fighting. They have a 3rd lung for emergency oxygen. They can survive in a vacuum for 10 minutes. They can eat anything, including toxic materials, and their preomnor will break it down. They can go weeks without sleep because of their catalepsia node. Space Marines are built to survive everything. Spartans are also insanely durable. Their bones are carbide ceramic reinforced, making them nearly unbreakable. Their augmentations let them survive falls that would kill normal humans. Their Mjolnir armor has energy shields that can tank plasma bolts and explosions. But here's the weakness. Spartans are still biologically human underneath. They can be poisoned, they need to breathe, they need to eat and sleep regularly. They have enhanced endurance, but not unlimited endurance. A Spartan pushed to the limit will collapse from exhaustion. A Space Marine pushed to the limit will enter suspended animation and keep fighting when he wakes up. Advantage Space Marines in durability. They're just built to take more punishment and keep operating. Let's talk in intelligence and training. Space Marines undergo hypno-indoctrination, where knowledge is implanted directly into their brains. They memorize the Codex Astartes, which is 10,000 years of military doctrine. They train for decades before seeing combat. They learn tactics, strategy, weapon use, vehicle operation, and how to fight every enemy the Imperium has encountered. But here's the catch. Space Marines are indoctrinated to follow doctrine. They're brilliant tactically, but they're constrained by tradition and ritual. Most Space Marines think in terms of honor and glory, not pure efficiency. Spartans are abducted at age 6 and trained by the best military minds humanity has. They learn tactics, strategy, languages, history, xenobiology, everything. By age 14, they're smarter than most adult soldiers. Dr. Halsey says Spartans are tactical geniuses who can assess a battlefield in seconds and adapt instantly. They're trained to think independently and improvise. Master Chief isn't following a 10,000-year-old rule book. He's making split-second decisions based on the current situation. Spartans are creative problem solvers. This one's close, but advantage Spartans in tactical flexibility. Space Marines know more, but Spartans adapt better. Now, equipment. Let's start with armor. Space Marine. Power armor is ceramite and plasteel plates powered by a miniature fusion reactor. It weighs around 500 pounds, increases the wearer's strength significantly, and has life support systems that can keep a Marine alive in any environment. The black carapace interface makes the armor feel like a second skin. Power armor can tank bolter rounds, plasma blasts, and even small explosions. It's been in use for 10,000 years, and every chapter has their own variants. Mjolnir powered. Assault armor is a polyalloy composite with energy shields powered by a miniature fusion reactor. It weighs 1,000 pounds and multiplies the wearer's strength by 5. The neural interface lets Spartans control it with thought. Mjolnir shields can absorb plasma hits and recharge. Mjolnir has motion sensors, targeting systems, and can interface with AIs like Cortana. It's the most advanced armor humanity ever created. Here's the key difference. Power armor is tougher and doesn't rely on shields. Mjolnir has shields that recharge, but once they're down, the armor itself is less protective than ceramite. Power armor can take sustained fire. Mjolnir can tank huge hits, but needs time to recharge. Both have advantages. Edge to power armor for sustained combat, because no recharge needed. But MJOL and ER shields make it better for burst damage. Weapons. Space Marine bolter fire 75 caliber rocket. Propelled explosive rounds called bolts. Each bolt penetrates the target, then explodes inside them. Bolters fire at 1,000 rounds per minute. A single bolt can blow apart an unarmored human. A burst can take down light vehicles. Bolters are devastating. But Space Marines also carry chainswords, which are chainsaw swords that rip through armor and flesh. They carry plasma guns that fire superheated matter. They carry meltaguns that fire heat beams that melt through tank armor. They have grenades, including crack grenades that are anti-armor. Space Marine arsenals are insane. Spartans carry the MA-5 assault rifle, which fires 7.62mm armor, piercing rounds at 900 rounds per minute. They carry the Magnum, which fires 12.7mm semi-armor piercing high explosive rounds. They carry the battle rifle, which is a precision weapon. They carry the shotgun, the sniper rifle, the rocket launcher. They use Covenant weapons like the energy sword, the plasma rifle, the fuel rod, cannon, and they can use Forerunner weapons. Spartans are trained on everything. Advantage Space Marines in weapon power. A bolter is objectively more destructive than an assault rifle. But Spartans have more versatility and can use any weapon they find, including enemy weapons, which Space Marines rarely do. Now let's talk combat doctrine. Space Marines are shock troops. They deploy in drop pods from orbit, slam into the enemy, and overwhelm them with firepower and melee combat. They fight in squads of 10, led by a sergeant with support from Devastators, Assault Marines, and Terminators. Space Marines believe in frontal assault, overwhelming force, and dying with honor. They want to fight in melee because it's glorious. The Codex Astartes teaches direct combat. Spartans are special operations soldiers. They deploy via Pelican dropship, infiltrate enemy territory, complete objectives, and extract. They fight in 4-man fire teams with overlapping fields of fire and coordinated tactics. Spartans use cover, suppressing fire, flanking maneuvers, and combined arms. They avoid unnecessary combat and strike from ambush when possible. Spartans are efficiency over glory. This is a fundamental difference. Space Marines are warriors. Spartans are soldiers. Space Marines fight because it's their purpose. Spartans fight to win as efficiently as possible. Advantage Spartans in tactical doctrine because modern combined arms beats 10,000-year-old shock assault in most scenarios. Let's talk combat experience. Space Marines fight for decades or centuries. A veteran Space Marine has fought Orcs Tyranids, Chaos Marines, Eldar Tau Necrons, and more. They fought in every environment, from frozen death worlds to volcanic hellscapes. They've seen it all. But here's the thing. Most Space Marines fight in squad-based combat in wars involving thousands of combatants. They're experienced, but they're used to having support. Spartans often operate alone or in small teams against impossible odds. Master Chief has fought the Covenant, which outnumbers humanity 1,000 to 1. He's fought the Flood, which are worse than Tyranids, because they're smarter. He's fought Forerunner constructs, including a Didact. He saved humanity multiple times personally. Spartans are used to being outnumbered, outgunned, and still winning. Experience edge to Space Marines for variety of enemies. But Spartans have more experience operating independently, which matters in a 1 versus 1 fight. Now let's talk specific abilities and advantages. Space Marines have abilities. Spartans don't. The catalepsian node lets them go without sleep. The omophagia lets them eat brains and gain memories. The Becher's gland lets them spit acid. The Susan membrane lets them enter suspended animation. These are biological advantages Spartans can't match. But Spartans have advantages too. Spartans can interface with AIs. Cortana made Master Chief 30% more effective in combat by feeding him tactical data in real time. Spartans have motion trackers built into their HUD. Spartans have shield recharge, which is something Space Marines don't have at all. And Spartans are trained on every weapon system, including alien tech, which makes them incredibly adaptable. Both have unique advantages. Now let's run scenarios. We're testing this properly. I'm giving you 5 scenarios and analyzing who wins each one. Scenario 1. One-on-one duel in an arena, no cover, 100 meters apart, both fully armed and armored. Space Marine has a bolter and chain sword. Spartan has an assault rifle and energy sword. Who wins? At the start, the Space Marine opens fire with his bolter. 75 caliber explosive rounds flying at the Spartan. The Spartan's shields tank the first few hits, then start failing. But the Spartan is moving. 20 millisecond reaction time means the Spartan sees the bolter rounds and dodges. The Space Marine is tough to hit because he's also moving, but he's bigger and slower. The Spartan fires back with the assault rifle, aiming for weak points in the power armor joints and helmet. The assault rifle isn't taking the Space Marine down fast, but it's doing damage. The Spartan's shields fail after his, say, 8 to 10 bolter hits. Now, the Spartan is vulnerable, but the Spartan is faster. The Spartan closes distance while dodging. The Space Marine drops the bolter and draws his chainsword. The Spartan activates the energy sword. They clash in melee. Here's where it gets interesting. The Space Marine is stronger. One solid hit with the chainsword and the Spartan is done. But the Spartan is faster. The Spartan is seeing the Space Marine in slow motion. The Spartan dodges, parries, and counters. The energy sword cuts through power armor because it's a plasma blade. The Spartan targets the joints, neck, and helmet. This is a 60-40 fight in favor of the Spartan. The Spartan speed and reaction time are the deciding factor. The Space Marine lands hits, but not enough fast enough. The Spartan lands critical hits first. Winner Scenario 1, Spartan. Scenario 2, Stealth Mission. Both are tasked with infiltrating an enemy base, eliminating a target, and extracting without being detected. Who completes the mission better? Space Marines are not stealth specialists. They can be stealthy Raven Guard and Night Lords. Prove this. But most Space Marines are 8 feet tall, weigh half a ton, and their armor is loud. Space Marines prefer overwhelming force, not infiltration. Spartans are trained for this. Mjolnir armor has active camouflage upgrades. Spartans have motion trackers and enhanced vision. Spartans regularly infiltrate Covenant ships and bases. In Halo, the Fall of Reach, Spartans infiltrate a Covenant space station and destroy it from within. Winner Scenario 2, Spartan. This isn't even close. Spartans are special operations. Space Marines are shock troops. Scenario 3, prolonged combat. Both are dropped into a war zone and must survive for 3 days straight fighting continuously. Who lasts longer? Space Marines are built for this. They can fight for weeks without sleep. They can eat anything. They have 2 hearts and 3 lungs. If one system fails, the backup kicks in. A Space Marine in prolonged combat will just keep going. Eventually, he might need to eat or rest, but he can fight for days easily. Spartans have limits. They need to sleep eventually. They need food and water. Their shields recharge, but their armor can be damaged ahead. After 3 days of continuous combat, a Spartan is exhausted. Winner Scenario 3. Space Marine. Biological superiority wins here. Space Marines are built for attrition. Scenario 4. Vehicle combat. Both are given access to their faction's vehicles. Space Marine gets a Land Raider. Spartan gets a Scorpion tank. Who wins the tank battle? The Land Raider is a 72-ton super heavy tank with ceramite armor, twin-linked las cannons, and heavy bolters. It can transport 10 Space Marines, has smoke launchers, and can ram through walls. It's a fortress on treads. The Scorpion is a 66-ton main battle tank with a 90mm cannon, a mounted machine gun, and can reach 60 kilometers per hour. It's maneuverable and has good armor. The Land Raider's las cannons can punch through the Scorpion's armor in one hit. The Scorpion's 90mm cannon will damage the Land Raider, but it'll take multiple shots. The Land Raider is tougher and has more firepower. But the Spartan is a better driver. Spartans have 20 millisecond reaction times. The Spartan can outmaneuver the Land Raider and hit weak points. The Spartan targets the treads, immobilizes the Land Raider, then pounds it from range. This is 55 to 45 in favor of the Spartan. Better tactics and speed beat raw power. Winner Scenario 4. Spartan. Scenario 5. Squad combat. 4 Space Marines versus 4 Spartans. Open battlefield with cover. All standard loadouts. Who wins? 4 Space Marines fight as a fire team with overlapping fields of fire. They advance under bolter fire and close to melee. Space Marines trust in their armor to tank damage while they close distance. Once in melee, they have chain swords and superior strength. 4 Spartans fight as a coordinated unit. Blue team, Master Chief, Kelly, Linda, and Fred. They use cover, suppressing fire, and flanking. Kelly is the fastest, so she flanks. Linda is the sniper, so she provides overwatch. Fred is demolitions, so he uses grenades. Chief coordinates. The Spartans use superior tactics to separate the Space Marines. Linda snipes one, targeting his helmet. Kelly flanks another with an energy sword, hitting him from behind. Fred uses a rocket launcher on the third. Chief engages the fourth in a firefight and wins because of shield recharge. Winner Scenario 5. Spartans. Teamwork and tactics beat shock assault. So we have Spartans winning 4 out of 5 scenarios. The only scenario Space Marines win is prolonged attrition combat, which makes sense because they're biologically built for it. But in every other scenario, Spartans win because of speed, tactics, and adaptability. But wait, we need to address the elephant in the room. What about named characters? What if it's Master Chief versus a Chapter Master or a Primarch? Let's break this down. Master Chief versus a standard Space Marine captain. Based on everything we've analyzed, Chief wins 6 out of 10 times. Chief's speed and reaction time are the deciding factors. The Space Marine captain is stronger and tougher, but Chief is faster and smarter. It's a close fight, but Chief has the edge. Master Chief versus a Chapter Master. Now we're talking about the best of the best. Chapter Masters are centuries-old veterans who've mastered combat. Marnus Calgar, Dante, Azrael, these are legendary warriors. This fight is 50-50. The Chapter Master has experience and might have relic equipment that tips the scales. But Chief is still faster. I'd call this a draw. Master Chief versus a Primarch. Chief loses 10 out of 10 times. Primarchs are demigods. Gilliman is 10 feet tall, can move faster than the eye can see, and has the Emperor's sword, which is a flaming power sword. A Primarch would kill Chief in seconds. This isn't even a fight. So, the answer depends on what we're comparing. Standard Spartan versus Standard Space Marine. Spartan wins. Named Spartan versus named Space Marine. Spartan wins. But once you start bringing in the really high tier 40k characters, like Chapter Masters and definitely Primarchs, they're on a different level. Now let's talk about the lore problem. Warhammer 40k lore is intentionally over the top. Space Marines are described as moving faster than the eye can see in some books, and moving at normal speed in others. They're described as dodging lasers in one scene and getting hit by stubber rounds in another. 40k lore is inconsistent because it's written by dozens of authors over 30 years, and everything is exaggerated for effect. Halo lore is more consistent. Spartans have defined capabilities that stay mostly consistent across books and games. Spartans run at 60 kilometers per hour. They have 20 millisecond reaction times. Their shields tank as amount of damage. Halo is sci-fi with rules. 40k is science fantasy with rule of cool. This makes direct comparison difficult. If we take the highest end 40k feats, Space Marines are unstoppable gods who can solo armies. If we take average 40k feats, Space Marines are tough but not invincible. I'm using average feats for both universes, because that's the fairest comparison. Let's address common arguments from both sides. Warhammer fans say bolters would one-shot Spartans because they're 75 caliber explosive rounds, but Spartans tank plasma bolts which are hotter than any explosive. Spartan shields can tank a lot before failing. Bolters are deadly, but not instant death. Halo fans say Spartans would just snipe Space Marines from range because they're faster, but Space Marines have survived sniper fire before. Power armor is incredibly tough. You need sustained fire or precision hits to weak points to take down a Space Marine. One shot won't do it unless it's a headshot. Both sides have valid points. This isn't a stomp either way. It's a genuine fight where both sides have win conditions. Here's what it comes down to. Space Marines are better soldiers in the context of Warhammer 40k. In a galaxy where you're fighting Tyranid swarms and Chaos hordes, you need the durability and endurance of a Space Marine. Space Marines are built for the worst case scenario of endless war. Spartans are better soldiers in the context of modern combined arms warfare. In a scenario where you need precision, speed, and adaptability, Spartans are superior. Spartans are built for impossible odds with limited resources. So, who wins? Based on every scenario, every stat comparison, and every analysis, the answer is clear. In a one-on-one fight between a standard Space Marine and a standard Spartan, the Spartan wins 6 out of 10 times. The Spartan's speed and reaction time are the deciding factors. The Space Marine is stronger and tougher, but can't land hits fast enough. The Spartan dodges, flanks, and targets weak points. The Spartan's training in combined arms and adaptation beats the Space Marine's shock assault doctrine. In squad combat, Spartans win 7 out of 10 times. Spartan fireteam tactics are superior to Space Marine squad tactics in most scenarios. In prolonged combat or attrition warfare, Space Marines win because they're biologically built for it. In stealth or special operations, Spartans win easily. Overall verdict: Spartans win against standard Space Marines. But it's not a stomp. It's a hard fight, and Space Marines win 4 out of 10 times. Against elite Space Marines like chapter masters or librarians, it becomes even. Against Primax, Spartans lose. Now I know both sides are going to argue with this. Warhammer fans will say I'm downplaying bolters or I'm not accounting for melee. Halo fans will say I'm giving Space Marines too much credit. But I spent 40 hours on this, and I'm confident in this answer. The reason Spartans win comes down to 3 things. Speed. Spartans are definitively faster. Tactics. Spartans use modern combined arms warfare, which is objectively more effective than 10,000-year-old shock assault doctrine. Adaptability. Spartans are trained to improvise and use any weapon, including enemy weapons, while Space Marines are more rigid. Space Marines are incredible warriors. They are some of the best designed super soldiers in fiction, but Spartans were designed specifically to fight against overwhelming odds with limited resources. And they do that better than anyone. So there's your answer. Spartans beat Space Marines in most scenarios. Not all scenarios. Not against the high-end 40k characters. But in a straight fight between standard troops, Spartans win. If you disagree, drop your argument in the comments. Tell me where I'm wrong. Show me the feats I missed. I want to hear both sides, because this debate will never end. And that's what makes it fun. Thanks for watching this hour of me settling the oldest debate in sci-fi. If you want more versus battles, hit subscribe, because I'm doing Covenant versus Imperium next. And that one's going to be even more controversial. Remember, in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. But sometimes the Spartans win that war.